let's start recording. So this is a step-by-step process and guide to hiring your first VA. So I'm not really going to spend, I don't want to spend a bunch of time on this. I'd rather answer your guys' questions, but I'm going to send you this resource, and I believe that it's already in Empires in the resources channel. So let's just confirm that. Yep, there you go. So that's the PDF right here. And I'll just kind of talk you through some of the like key points on that, and then we'll get into like how to leverage your VA, because that's really like, it's the most important part, right? Like hiring people doesn't make things better unless you actually use them the right way. So we don't want to get into the habit of just hiring to hire, because that's not good. So this process, the reason that it is really helpful is because right here, like at the end of this, to make sure that they read the full thing and make sure that they're actually like a real candidate that's not just like going through your job application like at scale and just like, you know, going through 100 a minute and not even paying attention. You want to put something in your job description that makes sure that they alert you that they paid attention to that job, okay? Because that's a great and quick way to filter through probably at least 50% of your applications, okay? So again, this is all in the process guide, so I'll send that to you guys. I mean, it's already in the resources channel, so just go there. But again, when I say, you know, put this in the bottom of put this in your subject line, so I know you read the listing fully and follow instructions. So anybody that doesn't meet that, right? And you can just filter this in your email, right? So where you're applying, most of them will be pushed to your email. So you can actually set up a filter that will automatically clear out like half the applications, which is great if you are going to be getting a lot of applications, right? So I think I'm going to do the presentation because I have some animations up. Hold on a second. All right, can you guys see this screen? Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, perfect. All right, cool. So first of all is set that first kind of filter, right? And then next is identify your top 10 applications. You know, be selective. You know, here's some guidance on kind of how to select them. But it shouldn't take you too long to identify like the top 10, you know. So here's just kind of some guidance there. And then follow up again with a very simple response and call to action. Okay, so for example, I say in 2 sentences, tell me why you're a good fit for this role and what interested you about the listing. So then this lady sends me her whole life story, and then she's gone. Oh, yes. That's a good one, right? So that was the main reason I wanted to do the presentation. So now we can get back to it. But, you know, it's another filter here, right? When you're like, okay, all right, so, you know, they look good. Now let me just make sure they're super, they pay attention to detail, right? So then from there, identify your top 2 to 3 applicants and share a brief or initial task. You always want to start with a trial. You know, whether it's a trial task, whether it's like a trial 2-week period, whether it's a trial 2-month period, you know, always start with a trial task and basically have them audition to join your team, because otherwise you're just going to waste everybody's time and money, and that's not good. So this is again, another brief that you can use. If you need more examples of briefs, let me know. And the secret to hiring a VA also is just being really, really specific with your directions, okay? A lot of times people will hire a VA and they're like, oh my God, my VA sucks. And the reality is you just suck at managing your VA and giving instructions. So I had to learn this the hard way. You know, hiring designers and developers in Southeast Asia that really didn't speak great English, but were hungry to learn. And so I really had to, you know, if I was going to hire when I was making like no money, you know, I had to get my instructions really, really clear so that I was able to go overseas and hire people for more affordable rates. So, you know, this is really important, especially when you're hiring overseas and also hiring like entry-level type roles, okay? Just some red flags, things to watch out for. You know, again, start small. Don't get married on the first date. So set a trial task, set a trial rate, pay them for their trial, right? Make sure that they know you're serious and you're committed to them. And the nice thing with hiring a VA overseas is it will not cost a lot of money. Okay, so bring them on, treat them well, you know, treat them with respect, give them very clear guidelines on what you want them to do. And that's what I'm going to get into here. Okay, so first of all, any questions so far with what we just went through before we go into like leveraging the VA? Holla at your boy.
What's the best place to find these guys?
So that's a good question. You know, Upwork is an option. This example goes through onlinejobs.ph, which is a Filipino job board. So if you are looking for, you know, admin work, execution type work, implementation type work, assistant type work, that's a really great place. So yeah, I would say online jobs, I would say Upwork, and that's really like, and your network, of course, as well. Like, I mean, different hunger empires, right? Like that's why you guys are here to be able to hire really good people. So those are just a few examples. Yeah. But yeah, anything else, guys?
What have you typically found to be the average rate? So like on the lower end towards the higher end based on what they're good at and what they can do.
So I don't know if I have numbers in here. Yeah, no, I think I do. Yeah, so $2 to $25 an hour is kind of what you should be expecting for Filipino assistants, all the way up to like designers and developers with, you know, a few years experience. So, you know, anybody can really start hiring at that level. And I hired my VA when I was like 1 month after quitting my job for like $3 an hour. And that's how I got started. So yeah. Any other questions about that? Hiring our amigos overseas.
All good so far on my end, man.
Sick. All right, perfect. So I think we're getting some chat messages. All right, awesome. All right, so let's get into leveraging, because that is the secret sauce. Because God damn, I mean, I can't tell you how much money I've wasted and time I've wasted hiring people before I should have hired them. So just as like a rule of thumb, if you're hiring an assistant, then you need to be able to do all of the tasks that you're giving them. And that, I wouldn't say like in every case that's true, but like unless you're hiring an expert and somebody that's, you know, somebody that's done this for years and somebody that has previous experience, you need to make sure that you're able to know if a good job or a shitty job is being done. Otherwise, you're screwed because you're just spending money and you don't know why something's not working. So that's like super, super critical. So really, you know, any roles and responsibilities that you would be giving, again, you need to be able to make sure that you can go in and know that it's set up right, right? So yeah, that's really critical. All right, so first of all, roles and responsibilities. So this is a bit of a template that I've created for my VA, just kind of like an onboarding guide, and this is kind of constantly under refinement. But first of all, map out their role just at like a super high level. You should already have this from the job listing, right? So this is a system that we use. It's called a capture box. Basically, anything that happens throughout the day, like any random notes, we add it to a central location that gets processed at the end of every day. So it's like the goal is to kind of replace a to-do list, and that's a really helpful system and sort of way to run your to-do list if you're not using that already. All right, so next is the daily scorecard. Okay, so what that means is based on their roles and responsibilities, what are the actual activities that they're going to be performing, right? So a lot of times people will hire and they will be like, all right, go do this. And then most of the time the VA doesn't know what you mean when you just say, go do this, right? Like go get me more clients, or go get me more leads, or go set up these different pages, right? Like, again, if you are going overseas and you are hiring an entry-level person, you have to be very specific with how you actually get them to do shit. And so you have to be like, okay, literally, these are the activities that you're going to do every day. So for example, with me, and I think I might have a better resource here, so let me just quickly look for it. But basically here, what I'm doing is I'm mapping out, based on the goal of the VA, right? Like, okay, are they going to help me with lead gen? Are they going to help me with replying to emails? Are they going to handle social media management? Like, it's really important to define the specific reason that you're hiring a VA instead of just saying, all right, I'm going to hire a VA, because that's, you need to have activities mapped out for them. So for example, when we initially hired my VA, I wanted him to do 60 minutes of research per day. And that's just giving him kind of like research tasks for him to collect data and improve our marketing. I wanted him to go ahead and handle the scheduling of content. So, these are all activity driven, right? They should not be goal driven. They should all be input and activity focused, because, that's what you do every single day. And then the goal is that those daily activities move you towards the outcome of, okay, I want to build a 20K per month business. I want to build I want to generate 15 leads per week, whatever, right? So also content, agency outreach emails. So this was like very early on when I hired my VA, and we were kind of testing him out with agency outreach emails. And now he's sending out like over 500 a week, right? So, start small and scale up, and make sure that you have a system in place that's working. And just keep building from there, and focus on these like very small activities and like daily metrics to get you there, right? So that's super, super important. Then at the end of the day, basically throughout this process, this routine, it's just to go through and kind of close the loop on everything, right? So you'll go through, you'll filter out your capture box, you'll go into the scorecard and you'll update those numbers, right? And you'll submit a daily review. That's really important. So we have a daily review. We haven't been using it as consistently as we should, but shit. I think you guys missed that. All right. Anyways, here we are. So this is the daily review. So it just kind of ranks their execution, focus. Like, those are all kind of more specific details you don't necessarily need. But as the business owner, this is something that's really important. Every day I'm asking myself, okay, what did I do today that should be delegated or outsourced, so that when I go back through my notes, I'm able to just have a list of this stuff here. Did I complete all scheduled activities and quotas? If not, why not? share exciting customer team member headlines, share any issues you had, share a lesson learned, and then what are you working on tomorrow? So this is really helpful if you're managing a remote team. It kind of builds culture a bit, and it gets everybody on the same page. And you can set up automations within Zapier to push these messages out automatically in Slack, which is pretty cool. So that's the end of day review. And then you give them access to tools and that sort of thing. So, you know, those are kind of that's kind of the activity piece. And again, since you're outsourcing stuff that you already know how to do, it's really important that you have systems in place to like actually ramp these people up. So for example, let me show you some of our secret processes. I'm going to go really fast. No, just kidding. All right, Bruce Wayne. This is called Process Street. And I'm definitely going to drop my affiliate link in here because it's probably one of the best tools ever. And so if you guys don't have any system set up or software for actually building out your internal company processes and stuff, like Google Docs is okay to start, but I really recommend ramping it up a bit, and I'll show you exactly how Process Street works. But it's a really great tool, as you'll see in a minute. So let's see here. All right, so I'm going to just take you through one of the systems that my VA is executing pretty much every day. And as you can see here, all of these activities are tied to systems. So like that is super critical, right? So it's like, okay, if I want him to schedule content, how does he go through and actually do that? And that's the reason that you have a system and like a checklist, you know, that sort of thing, okay? All right, so let's see here. All right, let's go through this one. So this is something that we need to do before we're setting up outreach campaigns. So basically before we do like a cold email campaign or something like that, we need to set up a new domain if it's not been done before, so that if we're sending out emails, you know, we're not getting flagged or damaging our core domain reputation. So this is now a task that my VA is fully independent on, but you know, I had to start with building everything out. And so, you know, you can insert graphics and images and that sort of stuff, which I definitely recommend doing because it helps things. It helps you simplify the systems process, as you can see here. So, you know, I have a very simple breakdown that really anybody can follow and execute on. So since this is a domain configuration within Google Suite, I'm actually able to use their support resources. So, you know, you don't have to build all of these systems from scratch. I mean, you can leverage a lot of this stuff that's already built, you know what I mean? So, for example, today, right? So let's say you're about to launch a content campaign, or you're about to build out a content team and you want to start publishing content, whatever. Let me show you this. So this is the Gary Vee content system, which is an epic resource. And you literally have an entire system, let me show you, already built out, right? So at a high level, this is the system, and then it goes into even more details, right? So, you know, you could spend a shit ton of time building out a new process, or you just do a Google search and find one that works, and then, you know, as you go through it a few times, you can upgrade that and make that better. So that's kind of like a hack in hiring, right? So it's like, all right, if you need help with actually creating systems, just Google it, find like a Google checklist. Like for example, how to hire a VA. You can probably find some really good resources on that just online. And, look, here are 6 steps you can follow to hire a VA. So, there's tons of systems already out there, and it's just about kind of going out and finding the good ones. And, that's what Empires is about, helping you guys cut that search time down and help you get up and running quicker. Okay, so this is Process Street. All right, another helpful system that I'll give you guys is, this is a system for developing systems. So a lot of people have trouble developing systems. So I'll go ahead and share this with you guys, and that should make things a lot easier. So this is a very helpful guide for you guys to basically define how you build out your systems. Right, so it has examples, visuals, all that kind of stuff. All right, so let me drop that in. Okay. All right, 1 second. Yeah, so if you guys access that and then click I want this for my business, you'll be able to launch a free account with Process Street. And it's free until I think like 5 or 10 systems. So pretty cool. All right. So that's activities and systems. Next is schedule, and then like monitor. So any questions so far, and let me know where you guys are at. Just drop in a message or whatever you want to do.
Are all these slides going to be available and the doc going to be available in the resources tab?
Yeah. Yeah, everything, this whole presentation is in the resources channel right now.
Sure.
For free, son. For free. But you guys, you paid for a membership, so like I wanted to help you. And it works. Like, I have built that business, Yeah, Jared, let me get you I can get you the affiliate link. It's a really good software. Like, this saves me so much time, and it'll, you basically just build out all your systems and just hand it over. You know what I mean? So, all right. So that's Process Street. And then lastly is scheduling. So, once you have all this built out, you want to actually create a daily schedule for your team member, right? So, it takes a little bit of work up front, but it's so important because they need a schedule. If you don't have a schedule for your team, then you're fucked, really, because I've tried to do it without it, and it's much worse and a lot more expensive. And so I can just show you how I have done that. There's also a spreadsheet on how, yeah, I'll just take you through that because that's definitely the most helpful. And this is already in the resources channel. All right. Let's see here. All right, so this is pretty much a done for you schedule template. So all you need to do is just go in and customize it and update it. And so to help you understand what to put in these blocks, I've kind of set up a little system for you here. So first of all, this is kind of like a business lifestyle type optimization resource exercise, whatever you want to call it. But we're kind of optimizing for working a certain number of hours per week, and then making a certain amount per month. So it's kind of like, all right, based on my lifestyle goals, based on my business goals, how can I develop a schedule that helps me get there, right? So, and it also helps you to visualize your goals down here. And again, this is in the resources channel. And then next is like values and priorities. So, you can put in your daily habits down here. I already have a bunch built in. And then, depending on your goals, and most of us in here are focused on marketing and sales right now. So that's what this spreadsheet is optimized for. And yeah, basically you just insert those percentages here, and this is a link to a sales page for a product that we're selling through ads. It's like the 1440 method, and it's kind of like a breakdown, but you guys can just check it out. It's like $19, so whatever. But yeah, so that's why I put this here, because we were pushing traffic into this Facebook ads traffic into this resource. So next is habits. So, you know, when you guys get this, you can just make a copy and then customize it for yourself. So here's habits. You know, what am I doing daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly? So it just helps you get really clear on that. And then again, you know, based on those goals, based on, you know, where you're trying to go, where you want your VA to go, just go ahead and build out their schedule, right? So, you know, here I have prospecting and outreach for Andres. He's spending his morning doing that. Then he does content marketing, Facebook group growth, et cetera, right? So, you know, the schedule is super, super key here, to just make sure everybody's aligned. And then, you know, go and set up a Google Calendar. Like we kind of have a loose template going that we need to also nail down a bit. But it's super easy, you know. Do this once per quarter and you have a really efficient business, right? So yeah, you know, you can set up calendars for different team members. I recommend doing that. You can have like a master calendar if you guys have like, you know, weekly team meetings. So I'll just get rid of that and I'll show you kind of some of our structure. So we have things like prospecting implementation, Facebook group growth, outreach implementation, and then those are things that my assistant Andres is doing, and then I've also tagged in my operations project manager. So you know, you start small and you build out to this, and it just really helps make sure that everybody's on the same page. So lastly, after you're done with the schedule, I recommend getting a time tracker app. Like Toggl is really good. I've since started using an app called Forecast, which is really helpful for project management and like automating the tracking process. But, you know, unless, like once you start getting like some more team members on board, probably makes sense to check out a tool like that. But in the meantime, you know, I think just using Toggl, that's Toggl right here. It's really, really simple. You just go, you go into Toggl, you enter the task, and then you just get going. And you can set up teams. You can also push this data out to a spreadsheet to track. And so, you know, to start, I would recommend just keeping it simple, just like, you know, super MVP, launch it. And then eventually, you know, you can get into more advanced like project management type tools. Like this is what we use. This is what we use to like scope and map out projections and budget and all that kind of stuff. But really, for most of you guys that are just getting started with like hiring and like getting your first assistant, you know, don't worry much about this kind of stuff because it'll just be a distraction at this point. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much the training on the VA. So hope that was helpful. And let me know what questions you guys have. It says we have 6 minutes, but I'm happy to go over that. We would just have to send another link through. But yeah, so that's it. Let me know what questions you have. Like I said, happy to answer. But yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Damn, that's a lot, dude. Holy shit.